My name is Lisa Cuchara. I want to talk to you today about a class I am teaching on light painting for NEIPP. I consider myself an educator. I love to be able to share what's going on in my brain and my creativity with other people, my technical skills, my inspiration. I consider myself a manipulator of photons and pixels. So NEIPP is the New England Institute of Professional Photography. Every year in April, they hold a photo immersion week. So me, along with a bunch of other instructors, are teaching various classes this year. Most of the classes are week-long classes, but there's a few shorter ones as well. This class is taking place April 7th through 11th in Massachusetts, and there'll be more information about that at the end. Tom and I have recently written 2 books. Last year we wrote Create Fine Art Photographs from Historic Places and Rusty Things, and a couple of months ago we published The Frog Whisperer Portraits and Stories. Amherst Media published both of those books for us. We're known throughout the area for teaching photography and for teaching Photoshop. I do a lot of one-on-one Photoshop and a lot of big group Photoshop classes. And in fact, last year for NEIPP, I taught a Photoshop class. When I taught the Photoshop class, at the end we took a traditional picture, but then we also took a picture showing everybody's kind of brains exploding with all their new knowledge. And that's the way that I kind of think about our photography workshops, is you should leave coming away with lots of knowledge, lots of inspiration, and lots of newfound things that you want to be able to try. So light painting is something that we're going to be doing in this class, and on the left is a flat painted image, just one exposure, the light right above the camera, and on the right you can see the difference in a light painted image. It looks more like a Rembrandt picture or a painting. It has more saturation, more three-dimensionality, more depth of field, more interest in it, and you can pick the light and have it be exactly where you want that light to go. On the left is again a flat lit image, and on the right is going to be our light painted image, an LED light shining down here, giving us much more color saturation, much more detail with all of the outlines of the spools at the silk factory. On the top is another flat lit image, one exposure right above, with the light right above the camera, and on the bottom is going to be the light painted image. You can see again that color saturation, the texture, the detail, every rivet becomes apparent. Flat lit image and a light painted image. A lot of the images can actually be one exposure in camera to light paint, but most of the time we're actually going to be combining images, so we're going to be doing still life photography inside for a lot of the workshop, and we're going to be doing Photoshop showing how to blend those images. For example, this image here was a blend of about 50 different images. So there are going to be times we're going to be blending 2 images, 12 images, or perhaps even more than that. Having an LED light is a lot of fun at various locations, abandoned locations. You can put the LED light down here, like this abandoned school, and show all the dust and all the grit and all the detail, and then having that shadow come up and be part of the story. And looking at mergers and where the angle of the shadow is going to be important for the light painting technique. So this is just one picture in camera. Outside you can do this too. This is Old Car City in White, Georgia, and this hood ornament, it was shot during broad daylight, and the image that I took without the light painting is, there's no detail in this, it's not illuminated, and then by shining that LED light into this I was able to illuminate the hood ornament. Similarly, putting the LED light behind this building, this was actually in the basement, very pitch dark, no lights, and I did about a 1-minute exposure, having the LED light on a warm setting, having to be located inside. Kind of looks like somebody's working late at the city clerk's office. This is my favorite LED light because it has not just intensity, but it has color temperature. So you can do cool, daylight, balance, or warm, and therefore you can do a lot with this light. And we're going to be playing a lot with LED lights, flashlights, and various kinds of light painting tools. That same LED light, in this case outside, can be located over in the bottom corner, again giving all that texture, all that depth, all that color saturation. And this was on for just a few minutes in the beginning of the exposure. This is about a half an hour exposure, and we'll talk about how to find the North Star and how to do some star trails. You can just take a flashlight and walk down the road. You don't appear in the image because it's a longer exposure, but you can have a lot of fun even light painting something very simple like a road. I love all kinds of flashlights, but ones that have colors can be especially fun, so we'll talk about different tools we can use for light painting. So we could actually light paint the same subject red, blue, and green, or you could just light paint part of the scene in one color and part of the scene in another color. So you have lots of options when you have colored flashlights, and we'll talk about some of that gear and some of the in-camera techniques we can use as well as some of the Photoshop techniques. The moon was actually light painting these two bugs. They have no engines in the car, but we wanted them to appear as if they were on, so we went up to the headlights and we shined our flashlight into the headlights, and we don't appear again because we're moving through the scene and not staying in the scene. You can have a lot of fun with light painting. This is a combination of painting with flashlights and then having that warm LED light in the telephone booth and then painting the sign with flashlight as well. So you can have a lot of fun with this out in the field. Even on a cloudy day, you can have a blast, and you can also use all kinds of cheap toys, like the kinds you might get at a parade or 4th of July. You can have a lot of fun just going back and forth and doing different designs with different lights, different L wires. This is straight out of camera, no Photoshop, and it kind of looks like he's being teleported into the next world. So we'll bring some L wire and play around with that as well. The Milky Way probably won't be out while we're there, but we will talk about techniques for capturing short images under 30 seconds like you would want for sharp stars or for Milky Way. The exposure you would need for that would be very short, wouldn't necessarily give you enough time to light paint. You might want completely different settings, 5 minutes at f22 for light painting, and then the Milky Way wouldn't show up. So we'll also do some blending back in Photoshop to be able to put those two images together. So we'll have some different techniques that we'll be using in for still life inside, and then for photography outside, and then for Photoshop. Even on a cloudy day, you can get really cool images. This image here is about 3 minutes long, and the clouds are just streaking by. I love cloudy evenings because you kind of get very unique images, and then light painting with a green light in this instance. So I hope that you can join me. This is again April 7th through 11th, 2019 in Devens, Massachusetts. You can find out more information and sign up for this wonderful photo immersion. You know, it's over 4.5 days of complete photography immersion. You can go to ppane.com and learn more and register for this conference so that we can have some fun imagination doing some light painting in the inside and doing some still life photography, as well as going outside, whether it's cloudy or we have stars. We're going to have a blast outside. If you want more information about me or to contact me, you can go to photographybylisaandtom.com. Looking forward to seeing you in April. Bye.